Is that good?
Hi, I'm Mario. I play guitar.
I'm Brendan, and I play drums.
I'm Kiana, and I sing.
I'm Josiah. I'm the other one. I play bass.
And we're
Immigrant's child. Whoop whoop.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here. It's such an honor to have you guys have the debut at the pond, and we're so fucking stoked.
We loved it. Thanks for having us.
seriously.
The honor was all ours.
So I just want to kind of ask you guys a couple questions. How did you guys all meet, and how did Immigrant's Child come to be?
So, Kiana and I were siblings.
We've known each other for a while.
Yeah, so I've known her my whole life. And then we met Mario many, many years ago. We've known Mario for like how many years now?
10 years now.
Almost 10 years now. And we would play music together, but it was never anything like too serious. We would just get together and jam every now and then. And then Kiana met Brendan through work like maybe a couple years ago, and then he joined us. And ever since then, that's kind of, I would say, like when the band really took off and we really started like actually writing stuff and, making music and stuff.
Yeah, because that was in like 2018.
Yeah.
That was in 2018.
It's been that long.
Yeah, Brendan joined in 2018, and we had Mario, Josiah, and I had already been jamming for years at that point. And then once Brendan joined, because we like didn't have a drummer at that point, so we just couldn't move forward. Then once Brendan joined, we wrote over like 20 plus songs. We've written like 20 plus songs since. So, yeah, really did hit the ground running. Yeah.
Wow. Sweet. How did you guys come up with the name?
I think my dad actually came up with it. So it was his idea because so my brother and I are second generation here in America. Our grandparents are from Mexico. Mario is from Mexico. Brendan was born in Mexico. So it's kind of just something that's like really personal to us because we all come from like either are immigrants or come from immigrant families.
Oh, very cool. How do you guys...
Sounds cool.
It sounds really cool. It's a great name. And how do you guys feel like those experiences have affected your songwriting and your performing and your experience in the music scene here?
It's definitely a big part of motivation for myself for songwriting. It growing up, especially the way I did in Denver, like the access to the arts wasn't that big, and it's kind of a sad thing. And it wasn't for lack of effort from schools and everything, but just you got to take into account like families got to work. People don't have the time to like flex their schedule and take a kid to work, take a kid to practice, take a kid to an extra music lesson or whatnot. So a lot of what I ended up doing for writing with Kiana, Josiah, and Brendan, it was like just a lot of self-taught stuff that kind of had that scrappy immigrant attitude. Like no one's teaching me how to do it. I have to do it myself, and I have to get it myself. So
Cool.
Yeah, and I guess, and for me, it's just like, it's like who we are. So it's kind of like embracing that. And I don't know, that also the way I think about it is like, unless you're Native American and you live in this country, like you're an immigrant's child of some sort. So, I mean, like, and it's just kind of like also a way of thinking it like I know people may have certain views towards immigrants, even though they're like, they wouldn't be here themselves if it wasn't for immigration. So kind of like a, like we all kind of share that in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. How do you guys feel like, so you guys have played around in the Denver scene for a while. How has that been? Like, what do you guys think of the scene around here?
I feel like it's growing. Like I feel like the music scene is getting better. It's kind of, I think it's kind of weird to be a part of that scene because I feel like Denver has a very wide variety of like music genres that are played here. You can literally find anything from like ska to rock to heavy metal and whatnot. So
Yeah, there's tons.
yeah.
I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is just how friendly and willing everyone is to like work with one another. It's just a huge thing. Like in conversations that we had, prior to all this, the interview, like the music is here, the people are here, the work is being done, and it's just a matter. I think I was mentioning that it's kind of fractured. It's just a matter of pulling everyone together so that you know who's who, you know who you can rely on, who can support you, and who you can support as well. Just so that you're putting your name out there at the same time as someone else is together in a partnership, really boosting each other up. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like it's not like you go to gigs and then it's just like, okay, we have to be better than them. It's always like we made good connections. So, for example, with Fat Brando, who, gave us this connection to come here. And then you guys who are like going out of your way to do this so that you can, further emphasize like the Denver music scene. So I feel like there's always so many really good and like healthy connections that you make. So
Yeah, totally. It's a very welcoming community.
yeah, it is.
Just a fun little question. What are some of what would you guys say your favorite venue experience has been? Like, what's a venue that really is close to your heart?
Probably
Ooh.
Herman's Hideaway.
Herman's? That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah, we've played there a couple times. They've had us play. I think it's been like 3 times now. And I feel like we always do good there. I will say Globe Hall was probably my favorite that we played. That was like the biggest audience that we had at the time and probably the best show we ever played.
Cool.
So I think overall that Globe Hall was a really cool experience, but Herman's has always been really good to us because they always invite us back.
Can I vouch for the house party?
I was just about to say the same thing. my we've done 2 house parties so far, and those 2 have been my favorite shows. Even like all the venues we played at, they're very small. So, even though the other venues we've been to are small, there's just something about the house parties because like you're right next to somebody, like you're playing and there's people dancing like 2 feet in front of you, and I think that's just a cool feeling.
The energy too at those house parties was unmatched, I think, because it was different. It was a lot of peers our age that were there having a good time. A lot of people who loved music for what it was. The house parties were definitely.
And you want to talk about community too. Like, it was a community friend as well that kind of reached out to us and said like, hey, y'all want to join us and do this show too? And like they've all been saying, that energy was insane. Like, you look out into this room full of like 40 people that's not meant to hold 40 people, and you're sweating and you're just, your hands hurt, and you're like, this is so badass. I feel like I'm in a music video. It's so cool.
Well, and I also feel like, because I feel like that's like a thing that you see in movies, and I feel like it was like dying for a long time. Like house parties just weren't a thing, and you have like bands come play at your house party. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I feel like it was,
No, I agree.
yeah, like it's a dying thing. So the fact that we even got to do 2 of those was really insane.
Yeah. We have an interesting DIY scene here in Denver, I feel like.
We do.
So, like you're saying, it's so fun to be around so many people crammed in. Unfortunately, obviously, we can't do that anymore. So, I mean, we are hoping for the future. That'll come back, and that's going to be so fun. But due to COVID stuff, how has making music been for you guys? What are like positives and negatives of creating during this
Ooh.
pandemic?
You wanna start?
Okay, sure. Well, because when it first started, it was kind of like during like last summer, and we had, because that's when we really started like ramping up the number of shows we were playing, and we had shows lined up for the summer, but they all got canceled because of everything, which sucks. I guess like just staying inside, I guess, but has just, I guess, given us new perspective, I guess, on songwriting. Like, I guess one of the upsides, I have more time to play and stuff.
And not only that, but I think we made the best of our situation, because it's not like we just fell stagnant. We went into the studio, we made the EP, so I think we were productive with our time during quarantine and all this other stuff. We could have just not played, but we decided to keep going and get our music out there, which was fun.
I mean, to be very honest, like, some great art comes from like shitty moments. So mental health wise, like, it's been challenging. It's been a strain to like feel confined, to feel trapped, to not really understand what's going on. And in my case, like, I usually try to pour those emotions a lot into writing. And then thankfully we had the chance to take that writing and go into a studio during the pandemic. And the studio was great and worked with us and had us wear masks and be just socially distant as best we could, so that we weren't breaking anything or putting each other and others at risk. And it just really solidified the idea, like, if we want to do it, we can do it, but just an outlet to get all that frustration, all that emotion out there.
Cool.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think it was nice to, like, even though it did kind of suck that we didn't get to play those gigs, and that really helped us move forward. When we were playing so many gigs, we didn't really get to write because we were so busy. Like, okay, we got to make sure we have our set. We got to practice our set. And then we got to focus on the EP. And I think, at least like personally, it also helped me realize like how important social media is for the music scene. especially in a time like this, because I know that this is like the first time that we're living in like a technological age, and like bands are having to deal with like what's life gonna be like in a pandemic when you make like money and art off of being around people and performing in front of people. So I think another positive has also been like, I think like getting time together to just be a band and hang out and not that we don't like to perform, but like don't have that, I guess, to worry about. I guess that sounds really bad. We love performming, but but mostly just that, like, yeah, like that's just like, it's just there, but getting to actually focus on like our social media and like our art, like the physical like album art and things like that leading up to it. We actually got time to just like sit and really plan that out, and I think was kind of nice too. So.
That's great. It sounds like you guys did a lot with the time during this unfortunate time.
We tried.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that EP. That's going to be awesome.
Yes.
What kind of things inspire you? Like, it doesn't have to be, like, it could be anything, like influences musically, like looking at a piece of art, or like any type of person. Like, what is something that inspires you for your art and just through your life, I guess?
Oof. Who wants to go first? I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. We can just kind of go down the line. I guess for me, like, most of my influence comes from like other musicians. I'm a big fan of like classic rock and bands like the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Cream, and so like I don't know, because I really get motivated to write when I like when I listen to songs that like obviously have a lot of energy and like passion put into it, and that kind of motivates me to do the same, and I do my best to like write bass lines that like to put passion to the bass lines and to make them like exciting and like energetic. I don't know if I succeed all the time, but that's like my main goal, and like I kind of take inspiration from like past bands and things like that.
Same. I think like with writing music, I find a lot of inspiration just I guess with whatever I'm listening to at the time. I really like anything from pop. I love musicals, some prog rock in there, some old school rock. So I kind of feel like I'll find inspiration based on like the phases that I'm going through like musically. So kind of going through like an Ariana Grande phase. So I'm just like really diving into practicing more of that, and I think it's also like I get inspired by like feeling like I'm getting better. So like once I practice and then I do better at something, and I'm like, oh god, that was great, that felt so great. So getting to focus a little bit more on finding new things to like, and then learning new things from those things after practicing them.
Cool.
I'd say I draw a lot of inspiration from past experiences, learning experiences. I was taught by my cousin who was in a professional drum corps, and he also played punk really well, actually. So I kind of get a lot of my influences from like the old punk scene, and I did a lot of jazz in high school. So yeah, that's what inspires me for my music.
I love watching super gifted guitarists and then thinking, how can I make that easy and accessible, and also make it sound good. Like, don't get me wrong, I love technical skill, but I also love the idea of like, if I can do it, then I can pass that on to someone else, and someone else can learn to do that too. Because growing up, like playing guitar, like you just want to play like the people you listen to. You want to get that exact sound and that exact note. So that's kind of how I base my songs and the way I write.
Awesome. So I have one last question for you. It's a little silly, but I love to know, what are your guys' favorite colors and why?
Oh. Do you want to go first?
I guess I don't know. I've always been like a fan of green. I don't know why. Like a kind of like a dark like forest green. I don't know why. I guess I just always liked it.
It's a good color.
I'm gonna say red. I really like reds.
It's such a hostile color.
It's my inner hostility. Yeah, red.
I'm gonna have to second the green. I'm more of like a jade, emerald green. I don't know,
Okay.
it's a comforting color, I guess, to say the least.
Word.
What am I looking at you? Black. Just cause it can match with anything, and I'm not picky about my
Matches
clothes.
The color of his soul.
Well, awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Um,
Seriously.
It's been a blast.
Yeah.
They have a set up on the Salt Lick at the pond, or the pond at the Salt Lick page on YouTube, and please go check it out. Can you guys let us know where we can find your music and your social media?
Yeah, so yeah, our Instagram is immigrants_child. Our Twitter is immigrants C, so there's an S and C there. And then there are links to our Spotify on those social media pages, but you can also go to Spotify, find us on there, iTunes, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. You can use Shazam on our music. So it's literally everywhere except YouTube. So, but hopefully, at least now we'll have these for YouTube.
And to the person that has Immigrant's Child, at Immigrant's Child on Twitter, can we please have it? Thank you.
And Instagram.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.